Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Tom Worth Jr. talking again about the importance of facts and this facts versus truth, I guess. And this kind of goes back to Friday night. I found myself with some time on my hands and I've been meaning to go back and watch Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, one of my favorite movies, for quite a while. Finally got around to doing that, and it's just so cool when you go back to something that you love and have seen a bunch of times, but something else might catch your attention depending on what else is going on. And in this case, it was kind of at the start of the movie, after he's running around as a kid, and kind of a backstory about him, how he got his hat and used his whip and things like that. But when he's an archaeology professor at their little college up in the Northeast, but he's telling his students that archaeology is the search for facts. And if it's truth you're after, then Dr. So-and-so's philosophy class is down the hall. And that struck me because the argument over truth itself and what is truth is not a new thing. It's not a new political thing. It is as old as philosophy itself, and as old as people communicating with each other itself. Going back to the Greeks and the Trojan War, the Iliad and the Odyssey. The Greeks came up with the Trojan horse, a ruse to get inside of the walled city of Troy. And it was a treacherous act. They acted like they were leaving. They acted like they're done, the war's over, but then they get snuck in to the city gates, ostensibly as a gift to the Trojans, a parting gift, a giant horse that soldiers were hiding in. And then the soldiers bust out in the middle of the night and they set fire to the city. They kill everyone. They open up the gates, and it's a murderous, ravaging scene, and that is celebrated. The genius for coming up with that was celebrated by Greeks. You outsmarted your opponent. Sure, you lied. You had no honor. Kind of the opposite of what Rome value. They valued honor and truth and trust, but the Greeks valued guile. They valued people like Odysseus. They valued Alcibiades, the guys that in Alcibiades' case, you never were sure which side he was on. Was he with the Athenians? Was he with the Spartans? He could go back and forth. So both sides really wanted him. Also, both sides despised him because they knew you couldn't trust him. He wouldn't tell the truth necessarily, but he was really smart, so they wanted him on their side. What we are faced with now with Trump is, there is no truth. It's not... going back to his first term, they would talk, Sarah Huckabee Sanders, the daughter of an evangelical guy, would talk about what are facts, what is the truth, and about different versions of it. And this is what Trump's people and Trump himself have always done. What do Trump supporters say? They say that's what they don't like about Democrats. The Democrats are always lying. The Democrats are always not telling the truth. Trump just takes it to a new level. Trump takes it beyond what is true or not true. Trump takes it far beyond what is arguably a difference in policy, or, hey, you've got to look at I see reasonable people. I see reasonable people on the Democrat side, smart people, saying, hey, you've got to step back and look at what the other side sees, because they think that the Democrats, the Republicans think the Democrats are just as guilty of this. You got to see it the way they're seeing it. And I don't agree with that. We don't have to see it through a lens of just outright falseness. There is a difference between truth and facts. So, I got a comment tonight on the other day's video. And Renee, longtime commenter, always love when she comments. Hadn't heard from her in a little while, I don't think. But she's been there from the beginning, and she recommended a talk she saw in D.C. with Heather Cox Richardson, speaking about telling the facts. I'm reading Renee's comments here. She encouraged all of us with social media accounts to be loud. Tell the facts, just the facts, but do not cower in the face of this authoritarian regime. Facts flash a light on iniquities, and we all need to be loud. This Heather Cox Richardson is someone that was recommended to me when I first started this anti-Trump stuff back in August. And I did listen to her quite a bit. She had a daily podcast, I think she still does, called Letters from an American. She's a historian and just a brilliant historian. She's way smarter than I am, certainly, and than most people I know, at least when it comes to historical facts. And she is very much someone who, this Heather Cox Richardson, who deals in facts. Now, when you come across people like that, this is what drives conservatives crazy. This is what drives the right crazy, Fox News crazy. When you are simply stating facts, they think you are attacking them. They think you are attacking Trump, and you are, because Trump doesn't deal in facts ever. With this, we're not in a recession yet. There's technical terms. Maybe we've got to have 2 quarters in a row of shrinking economy, but this was our first quarter of a shrinking economy. Trump's first quarter here as president since 2022, about 3 years. And what does he do? Okay, the thing happened that every economist said would happen. If you do these tariffs, we will go into a recession. Everybody says this. Everybody said this back last year when he was running on this. Well, he's pulled back from some of the tariffs, but companies have already, they have to operate their companies. They have to operate as if they are going to have tariffs. They can't order a boatload of stuff from Asia that's going to take weeks to get across the ocean because Trump said, hey, the tariffs are off now. But then by the time the ship lands and it's unloading it, Trump has put them back on. Now they've got to pay those tariffs when the goods get here. So this is all Trump's doing. It's 100% Trump's doing. And what does he say today? He said it's Biden's fault. Every rational person knows it's not Biden's fault. What do his people say? Well, a lot of them just believe him. But even the ones that are rational and thinking, they say, well, that's just a politician. Politicians aren't always truthful. They lump Trump in with every other politician. That is the major fallacy with all of this. He is a subset. He is a group of one. There has never been anyone that's been the president of the United States lying to the extent that he lies. And I'm talking about flat out saying things that are not factual in any stretch, not even a kernel of truth to the things that Trump says and that he has his people say. And a lot of times they're kind of laughing about it when you see his people on his commerce person or economics advisor, whoever it might be, will be on CNBC, and they're kind of laughing or kind of smirking, like, hey, I just have to say this. But some of them are really, really believing it, or they're not believing it. They're saying it hook, line, and sinker, like Marco Rubio. He absolutely knows that everything he is doing and saying is wrong. It's wrong for America. It's wrong for human decency. It's wrong for every value that this country used to stand for. Yet he is standing up there and delivering the lines and doing the things that Trump tells him to do. This guy gets no credit for being smarter than that, or maybe he used to feel bad about it. He's doing it. He is complicit, just as much as any collaborator with the Nazi regime in Paris was complicit. Even though they might not have wanted to, they're just looking out for themselves. So they go along with it. When you are dealing with anything other than facts, and when every time you say a fact enrages the other side, because all you've done is state a fact, but they're taking it as a personal attack on their guy, that should tell you something. and I 100% agree with Renee, and I 100% agree with Edwin, another longtime commenter, and with Heather Cox Richardson. All we can do is stand up and call it like we see it, and deal in facts. And I'm guilty for, I used to try to stick to only facts and try to leave the emotion out of it, or the bias out of it. And every now and then, as the weeks and really the months went on, I found myself every now and then with the video thinking afterwards, I kind of crossed a line there. I went from a person just delivering the facts to, I'm obviously against Trump. I never hid that. But I just thought in my mind sometimes I would cross a line from fact to opinion, because my opinions were so strong with this. It seemed factual, but we know the difference, and I know what a fact is, and I know that there's first quarter's GDP contraction in the United States economy was the first one since 2022. That's a fact. It is also a fact that it is not Biden's fault. Okay, that might be crossing a line. As obvious as it is to me and every economist that this is 100% due to Trump's tariffs, I don't know how I prove that out. I can say that the economy was doing great, and then Trump came in and does all the tariff stuff, and now the economy is not doing great. I mean, it seems to be very cause and effect there. You would need more rigorous research than I'm doing right here to prove that out. But the fact is, the economy did shrink in Trump's first quarter here in office for the first time since 2022. And he can say whatever he wants about that, but that's the fact, and that's what we need to deal with. And that's what I would like to deal with, and I'm so glad that so many of you are dealing with facts and sending me people to keep up with. Sometimes I've heard of them, certainly in the case of Heather Cox Richardson. She is awesome. I highly recommend her to all of you. But there are so many people out there dealing with the facts. I did unfollow some of the YouTubers that I had given a subscribe to. Even though I agree with them, I have limited time, so I'm trying to look for more facts and less just rah rah rah. Let's get him. Let's he's a bad guy. I just want to fill my head with facts, and I think you all should too. So that's good advice, Renee. And we will keep speaking out good encouragement from you, Edwin. And we will talk to you all later. See ya.